day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're doing right, 'cause it's time for a proper review. Now, last week we discussed the January 8, 2026 Rust Store, and of course that means today we're here to talk about January 16. What? Well, sit back, relax, and start yapping. Shouldn't it be 7 days? Well, let me explain. This Rust Store took too long to rotate in. Yeah. So basically, we mentioned it in the previous video. This got like added time, even more time than normal, because for some strange reason, Face Punch, I guess, just kind of forgot to rotate it in. If I can recall, it was like 30 minutes too late. It doesn't matter. It rotated in, and it appeared Friday morning UK time. And considering Face Punch is based in the UK, you get the idea. So, that means no abnormals this week. What would also happen, though, is that every single skin would become marketable at the exact same time. So Thursday going into Friday morning. But unfortunately, without abnormals, all we can really do is just consider what prices to potentially like offer. We don't get that early insight, unfortunately. So maybe we could still look at all the skins and figure out what potentially could be a nice investment. So, first glance, what? No Mercy Tactical Gloves. Wait, hang on a minute. Hold on a second. Didn't we recently, or rather somewhat recently, see the Trust and Rust gloves? And let me remind you, that looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? Everybody got that for free literally a month before. So to then see this appear, I mean, with all due respect, it is the No Mercy collection. Yeah, people probably already own a pair that looks very similar, but that's still got the No Mercy insignia. That's marketable and tradable. I'm just saying, people still most likely want it, so sure, fine, okay. Oh look, another garage door. That's 3 in a row so far this year, yay. Oh, what's that? Okay. So you know about that Christmas sheet Medideba door we had like a month ago that had transparency and glow in the dark? Well, that's interesting. But more specifically, I'll just point it out now. The transparency you see here is smaller compared to the Christmas one, although it also had this vent right here as well. So, okay, Junkkernaught's back, but remembering from the past, Junkernaught collection was exactly doing super good. But with that appearing, both the doors suddenly spiked demand, spiked in price ever so nice. So, okay, I mean, sure, we'll keep an eye on the sales, you get the idea. Oh, look, another armoured door. Yippee. So suddenly we're seeing a lot of armoured doors now, I guess. So overall, like, interesting collection continuations across the board. Oh, look, another HELLCORE skin. That's interesting. Fault Sap. And 2 combat knives. I haven't even spoken about the sleeping bag that suddenly appeared after almost 5 years. Wow. So, interesting batch and skins indeed. Like I said, surely there could be some interesting skins. What potentially might be the best investment for this week? Well, I definitely pointed out that there'll be no abnormals, which would be a problem. And this is the first time where I'm starting to mention the Easter dip. For what happens as we go through March and April time is we tend to see the player count drop off. And during that period of time, well, with it being a routine thing that happens pretty much every single year, prices go down. Now, I start warning people as much as I can, because right now, at this specific time, January 16, 2026, the prices are really good. Post-Christmas is amazing, but it doesn't last forever, and I have to warn people about that. So, looking at all the skins, first of all, I sit here and I talk about a certain backpack right there. Oh. So, yeah, another black backpack has appeared. In the past, we've seen some interesting designs, such as Training Backpack, Legacy Kevlar, even Blackout Backpack, and at this specific time, all 3 of them were in the positive. So this priced at $2.49, and initially, it wasn't really selling that much, so which I go over to here and showcase to you. I'm probably, if I can remember, like 16, 18 hours in, that backpack really isn't selling that much. Interesting. So, based on what we see with this, and with it being a fairly in-demand collection, I'm sitting here and thinking that's probably a very nice investment. Now, of course, I also would have mentioned the No Mercy Tactical Gloves, No Mercy collection being the largest collection in all of Rust. Surely there'll be some interest. Surely some people would want to buy it. And, you know, how many white tactical gloves are we going to see anytime soon? Tradable and marketable ones. Just saying. So, okay, not too bad. I also brought up the Dragonhorn bag. By the time I did my predictions video, as I said, about like 18 hours in, this is a glow-in-the-dark sleeping bag. A very interesting design. Fairly old as well, which is quite surprising, but hey, it's up to Face Bunch what they do. Glow-in-the-dark sleeping bags tend to work out quite nicely. I was looking at that with a little bit of optimism. But would it actually work out nicely? Well, we'll see. Now, I would have most likely have talked about the Junkernaught sheet Behaviour, as I've already said. A perfectly fine looking design. But in the past, people haven't really appreciated the other skins. It's, I mean, it might not be for everybody. When you look at it, very industrial, rusty, might not be for everyone, as I said. But it does have the pay-to-win features and even the vent right there as well. You can do like jump ups and still have that be useful. So if that like door is at a slightly higher level, when you stand up right next to the vent, you can see through it. So based on how you build your base, you could see through that and you could potentially see some feet standing just outside your door. There's naughty people out there. I best stay inside. You get that there. So, all right, cool. So, all right, that was looking pretty sweet. Whoa, a jackhammer. Interesting. This early in the year? Space themed. I should also point out space themed locker. Okay, that's cool. Are we going to still see more and more space themed skins being accepted after this though? During this bit of time, those previous space skins that we had seen, well, they were doing very, very nicely for themselves. Sheet metal door already doing okay, and these two doors, well, I wasn't feeling very confident with that garage door back then, but even back then, both of them were still in the positive. So maybe space themes were still going to hold up. I mean, I couldn't foresee the future, but I was starting to look at it with some positivity. I wasn't looking at the armored doors with positivity. I was starting to get really worried. Suddenly, in about, 2 months, we've seen 6 skins being added to Rust. 2 months, yeah, about 6 or so weeks, yeah. So, what do? I wasn't feeling very confident. I thought I would just stick with a barger in that regard, but I wouldn't have thought it was going to go down that badly. Kind of like the Thunder Gold Thompson. I do expect you to drop off. We had recently seen the MP5, and that had already started to drop off. It's unfortunate, but based on weapons of the past with this collection, they tend to drop off pretty badly during bad times, but recover ever so nicely when it's the good times. I thought the exact same thing would happen with this Thompson. So, okay. Some perfectly fine looking skins. But what did the first 24 hours of sales look like? So let's switch over to here. No Mercy Tactical Gloves. Just under 11,000 subscribers. So clearly people did want it. Clearly people actually wanted to have them. So cool. Neon Loot Room Door. Well, 9,500 subscribers. I never even mention that's part of the Neon collection. And that took a 1.5 years to finally be accepted. And yet, I questioned. Did people actually need it, want it? Would people actually utilise it with the other garage doors to basically point out where everything is in your base? Well, clearly it was selling nicely, so I had to respect it. But it was quite surprising to see that selling better compared to the Junkernaught sheet door, which kind of only reinforced my thoughts in regards to maybe people don't care about its design. Maybe. So, okay, understood. Asteroid Breaker selling nicely. Gold Chains, haven't talked about that just yet. But it was a $3 collection continuation. Nice and gold, but it's a $3 skin. And high-priced AK-47s, it's either suffer terribly or actually do amazing. And guess what happens more likely compared to the other? Thompson, Armored Door, selling reasonably well. Both the combat knives, well, considering we had 2 in the same store, I guess they haven't really sold that much. And there's also the idea of potentially seeing even more in the upcoming weeks as well. So, yeah, honestly, everything looked reasonably well. L96 wasn't selling that much, though. Considering not too long ago, back in August, it was the focused item. No, it was November. November, literally 2 months before. It's the focused item of the month. And, well, whilst this appearing did lead to the AK-47 bumping up in price ever so nicely, could you actually work out with hardly any sales potentially. $3 though. Ooh. So, overall, things at this specific point were looking pretty sweet. But unfortunately, we had to respect that there were no abnormals. Now, in theory, with it being a late rust rotation, these skins wouldn't have as much time compared to a normal standard store. But judging by the sales, oh no, they're doing okay. So, now it's time to kind of, sort of, talk about the price suggestions, because, well, unfortunately, the actual buy orders happened late. No abnormals, but I just used the same thumbnail for abnormals. Anyway, so, figuring out prices, no abnormals this week. What did we suggest? So you can actually see me over to here. Immediately I'm bringing up the fact that, well, we got no abnormals. No abnormals. No, kitty, he's sinking. No! And he's gone. Right, anyway, so what I'll do is I'll skip to here. Boom. So I can see that the sales at this specific point, No Mercy Tactical Glove, 23,000 subscribers. Neon Loot Room, still surprised to see that's the second best-selling skin, and yet 21,000 subscribers. And the Junkernaught Sheep Metadabador, 17,700. Noticeably, if I can recall, that had sold less compared to the Christmas Sheep Metadabador. Jackhammer, 16,000 subscribers, not too bad. And if we could just like skip ahead to a little bit later, you'll see me scroll down and come on, there you go. And you can see at the lower portion, HELLCORE N96, only 9,000 subscribers. So just to remind you, the next restore would happen and these would be removed. It's not like these would also stick around literally until like literally Friday morning, midnight UK time. But that is when they were going to all become marketable. So whilst you could still buy them, blah, 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 when that rust rotation happens, boom, gone. But then the actual marketable times would still be later. So anyway, prices. For the No Mercy Tactical Gloves, I thought about it. I could clearly see interest. I respected that. Priced at $2.49, but acknowledging that Easter is just around the corner, I said $1.20 to $1.70. For the Neon Loot Room garage door, well, I was in the position of, it really wouldn't surprise me if we suddenly keep seeing more and more garage doors. I'm noticing a trend, 3 rust doors in a row, 3 garage doors in a row. I thought I'd just do 80 cents to $1.20 for that $2.49 skin. Now for the Junkernaught Sheep Metadabador, I thought it was good. I still didn't think it was as good compared to the Christmas one. And of course other Sheep Metadabadors for transparency and glow. But there's not that many of them. So priced at $2.49, I thought, you know what? Maybe it still drops off a little bit. I'll put a decent barter down. $1.20 to $1.70. We'll talk more about that in a bit, don't you worry. Then we had the Thunder Gold Thompson, priced at $2.49. A white Thompson, which we don't really have that many of. I still expected you to drop off. How low would you go? Not fully sure. I definitely did some comparisons back then, though. So I went with $1.20 to $1.70. Gold Chains AK-47, I looked at it, I questioned it. 15,000 subscribers almost. I thought it was going to drop off. I only went with 60 cents to 80 cents. Glacial Visage Armador. Well, with so many Armadors being introduced in such a reasonably short amount of time, and with potentially even more on the way, I thought I'd just go with 80 cents to $1.20 for that $2.49 skin. Now, for the Odyssey Combat Knife, this was the one that glowed in the dark. Didn't mention it until now. Sorry about that. Yeah, glowed in the dark. Wasn't fully sure if everyone's going to appreciate that. I went with 60 cents to 80 cents. Black Gold Backpack. Well, I kind of bigged it up earlier, didn't I? I kind of sat here and said, you know what, we don't get that many black backpacks, and, well, you know, they've all gone up in price ever so nicely. Surely that would do the same, right? Right? So priced at $2.49, I said $1.50 to $2. Space Tour Locker, well, space themes, starting to see more and more of those skins. But what's going to happen as we go through February? We know we're going to have the naval update for the very first Rastor, and then Valentine's, and then we've got Lunar New Year. Oh, hang on a minute, that might be a bit of a problem. Anyway, I looked at that. I thought about, well, you know, we've been seeing quite a lot of we've been seeing quite a lot of lockers as of late, and of course with the previous year we did see quite a lot of them overall. I said I'd just stick with 80 cents to $1.20. Dragonhorn Bag, the surprise appearance. 5 years in the making. It's in the Rastor. I went with $1.50 to $2. I thought priced at $2.49, they're very likely still drop down in price at some point, but I'll happily pick them up, and I just couldn't help but assume that would end up going up in the positive at some point in the future. Yeah, its collection isn't exactly doing crazy, but with only 11,500 subscribers at that point, it looked pretty interesting, so yeah. HELLCORE L96, 80 cents to $1.20. It really hadn't sold that much. I don't think we'll actually see it properly any time here. Come on, let's just go. There you go. Yeah. Still can't see it. I can only just about see it. 9,000 subscribers, as we said. I was seeing more HELLCORE skins being produced in the workshop. But I thought, okay, 2 in a row, that's it. We'll leave it be, I guess. Didn't really expect that much more. So, yeah, I just went with 80 cents to $1.20. Asteroid Breaker Jackhammer, 80 cents to $1.20. Void Venom Combat Knife. Again, I was expecting a lot more Combat Knife skins to be accepted. 60 cents to 80 cents. And the Fault Sap, with its weapon-only collection, I didn't expect much of it. I said 80 cents. Sorry about that. 80 cents to $1.20. Had like a random one hiccup. So, yes. It was looking as if it was a perfectly fine batch of skins. Nothing had sold too ridiculously, which is perfectly fine. But how did everything actually turn out? So, of course, as we've already mentioned, there were no abnormals, but we still did buy orders. Did I happen to buy anything from this Rust store? I didn't. No, I didn't buy anything. As far as I can remember, I did not buy anything from this particularly. No Mercy Tactical Gloves have worked out quite nicely. Not an insane profit. In fact, if you were to bought them for $2.49, I believe you probably would still lose a few pennies. But what's the date right now? Oh, it's March 14, 2026. It's March time. We're currently slowly going into the Easter dip. So prices right now are dropping off. By the way, that's just one straggler. You know what? It's slightly in the it is slightly profitable and in the positive. But still, we expect to see better, don't we? So this very likely will slowly go down a little bit more and more. I don't imagine it will be going down to less than $2.50 though. It looks like it's got quite a lot of support. So based on what I'm seeing here, honestly, if this is you potentially at your worst, and again, that's just one straggler, you remove that, it's back up to $3, I guess you could say. I think that's not doing too bad. For something that I initially thought, well, people don't necessarily need it, right? Well then, still sold a lot. People clearly liked it. People clearly wanted it. So, alright, cool. There's demand. You're holding up. Thumbs up. Then we have the garage door. How many garage doors do we see so far this year? Well, I think we've had, what, 12 stores? No, we've had 30. No, we've had 11. We're about to have our 12th. And we've already had 12 garage doors. Now, of course, some of them were Twitch drops. But still, the point still remains. It's ridiculous already. We haven't even got through a quarter of this year yet. Nope. And we've already seen 12 garage doors added to Rust. With likely a whole lot more on the way. Yippee! Also, we've got Easter in the way soon. Yeah, we've got Easter soon. It wouldn't surprise me if we see some Easter garage doors. It really wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah. Are we surprised to see, after another 9 skins were accepted after this one, that it end up struggling and suffering? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So, yeah, that's not really that surprising, is it? No. Junkernaught Sheep Metadabador. So initially, it was just doing all right. It wasn't doing fantastic, it wasn't really doing amazing, but right now, it is slightly in the positive. So, better than being bad, I guess you could say. It's looking fairly thin. The bard was looking fairly okay. It does look like it could go down if someone felt like dumping. But to be honest with you, out of all the sheep metadabadors, whilst many of them glow in the dark, not too many of them actually have transparency, let alone actually useful transparency. So what I'm seeing here is a skin that's actually retaining its price. Now, I thought about it. I questioned it. I just didn't really feel like buying a bunch of these. To be honest with you, I personally felt like this was probably going to drop off real bad, like the garage door and the sheep door, which I had invested into in the past. Didn't really work out. Although, I was very happy to have sold a bunch of those garage doors when this was in the Rust store. Because it spiked demand, spiked the price ever so nice, and I actually managed to make some profit. Cool. But would we ever see more of this Junkernaught collection? Well, I haven't noticed anything just yet. Well, we might have an armored double door potentially, but hey. Oh, sorry, I didn't hit the mic. We'll see what happens, right? You never know. So, okay, cool. It's retaining, it's doing well, can't complain. And hey, if you happen to have bought any of these free skins right here, feel free to comment below. Whether you succeeded or suffered, it's nice and interesting to read. Asteroid Breaker Jackhammer. 18,000 subscribers almost. It's lost about 40% of its value. It's a perfectly fine white looking jackhammer. But we then did happen to see another very nicely named jackhammer right there. The cream pie jackhammer. You stick it in there and it jackhammers. Yep. Anyway. So yeah, it's lost a bit of its value. It's a bit unfortunate. But then again, we're going through the dip. All skins are expected to suffer right about now. Let's just see its sales history. Has it only recently started to suffer? Well, it's kind of just been slowly trending downwards. Hopefully, as we go through the summertime, it picks up and improves. It's looking quite thin here. I don't think we'll be seeing any more jackhammer skins being accepted anytime soon. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Could have been better, though. Now, in regards to the prices we suggested, well, I looked at that jackhammer and I thought, you know what? I think I will only offer around 80 cents to $1.20. Boom, $1.20. Now, with all due respect, with like the sheet metal door, I said like $1.20 to $1.70. Haven't picked up any of those. With you, I mean, I have picked up a couple. I had to remove the barter. And with this, still expecting to see some, but haven't seen any yet. So I've picked up a few of these. I picked up a considerable amount of these. I think my barters might have been a little bit too good there. But it looks like we've just about got it right on the mark, if you know what I mean. So, okay. Hopefully it doesn't go any cheaper than this. And as I said, let's hope it improves as time goes on. Thunder Gold has gone down. But we were expecting that. So with the Thunder Gold Thompson, I looked at you. I thought, you know what, $1.20 to $1.70. I can confirm to you, I have bought a considerable amount of them. So from here now, as we go towards, move closer and closer towards the summertime, I certainly hope these go up in price. Now, I said that in the past with all the other Thunder Gold weapons and tools. Quite honestly, there was a point in time in January where every single Thunder Gold skin was in the positive. So I expect to see that happen again. I've bought it for a lower price. Even if it only went back up to evens, I'd still make a profit. Not an insane profit, but you get the idea. So, okay. Doesn't look like it's swamped. Doesn't look like it's doomed. It's just routine. So let's look at it again in the summer, and hopefully I can sell it for some sweet, delicious profit. Well, I didn't really expect much with this. It's a perfectly fine looking golden AK, but it's not like we've never seen one of those before. I looked at it, I questioned it, and I went with a cheap price. Well, maybe I should have still offered a little bit more. Because right now, this is sitting here at $1.50. Now, could it get worse? I mean, looking at the barters here, I think they'll be keeping it above $1 for a considerable amount of time. I don't think they'll be going below $1. Looks like these people here that turned up, they've kept the price up. So I guess you could give them a thumbs up. But, yeah, that means I miss out. But it did go down pretty quickly. It's just been stagnant for a while, and it still has gone down a little bit more as well. So, yeah, didn't really amount to much. And yet, Hedge didn't offer high enough. So, didn't pick up any, unfortunately. Glacial Visage Armoured Door. You have gone down slightly, but we did see the end of all the armoured doors. But again, we do have Easter around the corner. Maybe we could see one of them. But currently, right now, Armoured Double Door is the focused item of the month. So I don't think we'll be seeing anything anytime soon, but you never know. We'll see. So, okay, at least that's kind of stopped. We're not going to get swamped with single armoured doors, but this could be better. So it's down by a third of its price, as you'll notice. And, well, it's not looking that bad. It's looking very thin. 113433 11111111. So, I mean, there's room for improvement, but we've said that many times already today. And when I looked at that, I said 80 cents to $1.20. So, okay. I'll leave it be. I think I'm right here. I haven't picked up any yet. Hopefully soon enough, Hedge. Maybe it goes down a little bit more. We'll see. But yeah, I haven't picked up any. Maybe I went too low, or maybe we haven't yet gone low enough yet. So, gotta wait. Just gotta wait a little bit longer. I think I'll talk about both the combat knives right now. They both went down in price. There you go. Yeah, there was more combat knife skins on the way, and a certain interesting pair appear literally the very next week. So, two in a row, and one of them happens to be the Cold Hunter combat knife. So, yeah, that appearing kind of took away all the love and attention. Odyssey, again, glows in the dark. In theory, you might think, well, I don't want to get noticed at night time, right? Well, and then of course we have the Void Venom, which did develop into, well, it was trying to develop into a collection, and we could still see these skins being accepted, but we only got one salvage sword after it. So it hasn't really worked out stupendously. Now I went lowball on both of them. Won't surprise me if I do eventually pick up a few of them, because it wouldn't surprise me if they keep going down in price. How many people actually bother to skin their combat knives? Offer your opinion. So, Black Gold Backpack at the time was looking pretty sweet. It had sold quite a fair bit less compared to the clothing and armor skins of the past. It was looking as if it was going to line up perfectly and become a very nice investment. So why is it down in price? Because with the very next restore, oh look, Black Diamond. Okay, so yeah, they decided it would be a great time to add the Black Diamond pack back, literally the very next restore. Thank you, Face Punch. So another black pack just instantly appears, and it just kind of ruins the momentum this was potentially going to have. So, with all due respect, it's only down slightly. It's still holding up. The barters are still there, and hopefully I'm the one who picks up a few more, because I have picked up a few. I think that could still work out quite nicely in the future. Like, fingers crossed, this is it at its worst. So, yep, just looking at it, it's been a bit stagnant for a while. It's actually starting to trend down now, but looking at it, I don't think it's going to suffer immensely. I don't think it's super doomed. I think that could still have a nice turnaround. So maybe even though the Black Diamond backpack appeared literally the very next restore, it doesn't look as if it's kind of ruined it or taken away too much attention. It looks like that's still looking solid. So I have the faith. So, alright, cool. Space Tour Locker, you look fine, you look nice, and I'm sure a lot of people have appreciated that with their space building skin. But yeah, it has slightly gone down in price. Now let me just point this out. How many lockers have we seen so far this year? 3 in total. With all due respect, that's not too many. Last year we saw quite a lot of them, and well, some of them are starting to improve quite nicely. But you, well, it's only slightly down in price. If I can recall, I only went about halfway of my buy order. So let's just confirm, yeah, 80 cents to 120. I went too lowball. I don't think that'll be crashing and burning anytime soon. I don't think that'll be dramatically dropping down in price. So I think I have missed out on this. I offered too low. I was wrong. So, did you pick up any? Did you enjoy them? Oh dear, Dragonhorn. Well, I was looking at it with some positivity, and it rewards me with me getting dumped on. So, okay. It's not doomed. It's not dramatically going to go down terribly, but yeah, look at it. It went below $2. Now, again, maybe you're just literally on the mark. Maybe you got it at literally at its lowest point. So, fingers crossed it improves in the future. Fingers crossed we see some improvement. But, yeah. How many sleeper bags have we seen since you? Let's just quickly confirm that. So, I know we've got one very recently. Oh, is that it? That's it. That's it. So, it's simply suffering, like all skins in general at the moment, as we go through the Easter dip. During the summertime, I hope to see some good things. So, hopefully. Fault set, very straightforward. The Fault collection, unfortunately, not super in demand. Are you good up here? Thank you. Yeah. It's a weapon-only collection, and this is what we tend to see with weapon-only collections. They all they all suffer. So for you, I said like 80 cents to 120. At the moment, it looks like I'm on the money. Sweet. So, okay, cool. I'll pick up a few. Fingers crossed I'll be able to flip them for some decent profit. But I didn't like request too many of them or whatnot. So, all right, cool. HELLCORE L96. Would you believe me if I told you this was actually in the positive for a short period of time? Because the very next restore, we saw HELLCORE. Oh no, SAR before L96. Oh dear, you fool! I got it mixed up. But we still saw the MP5 after it. So the MP5 appears literally the very next restore. We got 4 in a row. Awesome, amazing to see. But it didn't last, and it still went down in price. All 4 of these at one point were in the positive. AK for a while was doing very good for itself. L96 was slightly in the positive. MP5 was doing okay, but the MP5 had some other issues that appeared that didn't really do it any favours. And the L96, just the fact that we got the instant collection continuation made it look good, but still has gone down in price. So that L96, I only offered 80 cents to 120. I am yet to pick up some, but I won't be surprised if it does drop off a fair bit more, even though right now we have returned to normal skins and we're starting to see more and more of them being accepted. But we do have Easter in the way for 2 solid weeks. Maybe it suffers even more as we wait for potentially another HELLCORE skin. A 2-week wait? No! So, yeah. That's basically it then. So overall, quite a lot of instances where I felt like, you know what, maybe I offered too little. But as I just said right there, we do have Easter just around the corner. And during those 2 weeks, as we enter the first 2 weeks of Easter overall, maybe these skins could still go lower. And if they do, I'm pretty sure I'll be picking up a lot more of them. So that very likely could be the answer. Maybe we're just a little bit too early. So feel free to comment below how you approached this, what barters you did, have you already picked up some skins, did you buy anything straight from the Rust store? Feel free to comment below. Let's now get a nice little preview for next week. Okay, it's the funny store. What's the funny store? Well, I'm sure many of you remember that handmade NMG wasn't what was originally there. You also might remember that wasn't always priced at $1.49, was it? Well, yeah, there's a lot to talk about this store. There is a lot indeed. So, yeah, I'll be talking about quite a few things next week because, coincidentally, I happened to have bought quite a lot of skins, didn't I? Right, cool. So that's it for January 16, 2026. Hope the video is reasonably concise and straight to the point, helping you remember how everything went down and how everything came to be in regards to what were our initial thoughts. Did everything match up to expectations? Everything kind of went down in price and we were kind of anticipating that. So it is what it is. Thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Best of luck to each and every single one of you, and of course your investments.